Welcome to the Lockdown Economy, a social non-profit initiative by the think tank AlterContacts to help small businesses and self-employed professionals overcome the challenges of the pandemic and reactivate the economy. My name is Rosie Allison, and our guest today is Richard Jones. He's the founder of Jones Brothers Coffee Company, and they are an independent coffee business and roaster based in Amsterdam. Richard, I'm very happy to have you on the Lockdown Economy today. How are you doing?
Thank you, Rosie. It's great to be here. I'm doing great, actually.
Brilliant.
We're coming into the springtime. That always helps our mood, I think.
Yeah, well, fingers crossed we're going to have some sunny weather in the next few weeks. So tell us a little bit more about Jones Brothers Coffee Company. What do you do as a business?
So we started in Amsterdam in 2013. We're a branded coffee business. We're a local company with a bit of national ambition, I guess. And we are aiming to distribute our range of coffees, whole bean coffees and compostable capsules for Nespresso machines to as many segments as we can, really. So wherever the consumer is, we like to try and reach them. So in simple terms, we're trying to build a brand that is accessible to as many people as possible.
Great. And where can people buy your products? What's your form of retail?
So we have a fairly good presence online, both on our own web shop, which we've had for a number of years prior to the pandemic, although there was a big push, of course, for lots of people to go online, but we've been there for a while. We're in some supermarkets, some big national supermarkets in the Netherlands. We're also online with a few of the new grocery delivery services. There's a big one in the Netherlands and Germany now called Picnic. That's proving quite successful. We're also on the big online platforms such as Bol and Amazon. So we've tried to find a way to put ourselves online and in reach wherever we can. But we're also in other segments such as coffee for offices, which of course has been one of the things that's been hardest hit perhaps in our business. And we're trying very hard to reach as many other partnerships and platforms and any routes to the consumer and customers that we can, really.
Yeah, so it sounds like you've got a lot of avenues for your retail and for your coffee brand. So tell us a bit more about the size of your business. Do you have employees? Are you dealing with a warehouse?
So we do have employees. We're a pretty small business. So I've always tried to make sure that we've kept it small and quite personal. I wanted to create, like I said, a business that was a local independent business, but had the capability and the product range that would appeal to a wide range of people. And then we tried to outsource things like logistics. So we have an automated fulfillment center that we use in the Netherlands. And we try to automate as many parts of our processes as we can. So we're pretty small, but we do a range of coffee products to try to appeal to as many consumers as we can. So we try to keep the marketing, the communication, the customer service all in-house, and then we outsource the things that perhaps others are better at doing, like the logistics.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, obviously, part of your company is to sell to businesses that maybe were closed during the pandemic. Maybe there were fewer people drinking coffee in offices around the world, I guess. So when the pandemic started already a year ago by now, what was the initial effects on your business? What effects did you feel?
Well, the first thing we did was take a bit of a deep breath, probably like a lot of people, because if you remember, there was a bit of uncertainty as to how long the sort of initial lockdown was going to take place. And, so we kind of, after the first slight panic, we basically sat down as a group and said, okay, so we need to react. What are we going to do? It was clear that the office coffee part of our business was going to struggle. But we came up with a plan to try to reach everybody that's in those office clients who are now going to be at home. So we started to communicate as best we could to remind people that the coffee that they drink in their office is also available for them to drink at home. But obviously, like a lot of businesses, we switched a lot more attention to online. So we basically became clear in our mind that there were some things that we could do and some things that we couldn't control. So we just focused on the things that we felt we could do at that moment. And I think, like a lot of businesses, it sort of gradually got worse and worse, actually. We didn't come out of the first lockdown pain-free. And so it became an ongoing sort of almost daily, weekly discussion about what's next. So I think probably, like a lot of businesses, we were just reacting to the moment. And trying to work around a slightly different strategy, which was a bit more focused around the online business, accepting that the office business was going to take some time to recover.
Yeah, and obviously that was something that was quite difficult. Was that something that you were comfortable with, the online environment, building a website and promoting yourself online? And if not, where did you look to find help with that?
Well, luckily enough, we've been online since 2014. Because I wanted to build a business that had an online capability from the beginning. But I think the initial lockdown brought that into sharp focus, and actually we needed to get better, not just because everybody was going to be more likely to be buying online, but of course many more businesses were going to suddenly arrive into our competitive space. So we had a sort of short, medium, long-term set of goals. So short-term, we rushed to talk to the current consumers that we had. We offered a few incentives, of course. One of them was a credit voucher that we created, our Karma coffee voucher, so people could buy a sort of credit voucher with a 10% increase in the value. That was picked up very nicely. We worked medium term, we worked on improving the experience that the consumer would get with our website. So the speed, the layout, the navigation, a lot of the back office functionality, the checkout page. So we wanted to improve that experience. And we wanted some help in building a bigger audience. So we looked around to find some help as to how we could attract new users. And we got a bit of help around some input from somebody local to us that helped us with Facebook ads and how to understand that. We sort of focused around our winning coffee products and sort of moved aside some of the non-core products that we were also selling. So it was a real a chance, actually, to focus around our online business, which had been running quite nicely, but because of the other things that we were doing, had never received the focus that it did in those first few months. And we've been better for it ever since, actually.
Yeah, I wanted to ask, have you seen the benefits of this, and have you noticed a shift for people really focusing more on purchasing things from your online web store?
Yeah, I think so. A lot of people have found us. A lot of people have increased the frequency. A lot of people have bought different products. We've been communicating a lot with people, just partly about awareness to remind people that we're here, of course, because there are many other good coffee companies around, and partly to bring them some innovation. So some reasons to buy our coffees as opposed to maybe some of the other bigger, well-known brands, encouraging people to shop locally and shop independent companies generally like us. So we've tried to strike up partnerships and conversations with other small independent companies, not just within the coffee space, to try to encourage, support, I suppose, for smaller companies. So we've tried to be part of that little conversation and movement as well. But yeah, there's been a big switch, which we're happy about. It didn't happen immediately, but I think we put a lot of work in, and that's still reaping us some rewards in terms of the growth in our online sales.
Great, yeah. And it's something that has been coming up quite often, I think, on these interviews with the lockdown economy, that small businesses, they often find it difficult to communicate to their clients why it's important to buy their product, it's important to buy from small businesses. Do you have any advice for any small business owners that may be watching, of what kind of platforms or what methods they can use to communicate to clients or customers about the story of their brand?
Yeah, I think first of all, you've got to be clear about what your story is. And I think you still have to give people a good reason. Just being small isn't really good enough. I think you have to give people a good set of reasons and be clear about the benefits of buying from small independent companies. And it's either because you have a product range which is a bit unique or a bit artisan, or it's a bit more personal, or because there may be elements around being local and not, transport and logistics and the environmental impact of that. There's a story around that sometimes. And I think, the great thing about being small is that you can be reactive. You can do things quicker, smarter, funnier, more instinctive. And I think people, enjoy what small companies can bring. And I think my attempt as a business has been just to be instinctive in how we communicate, just to get it out there, do things that are maybe funny, maybe not funny, but talk about our product and about ourselves in an easygoing manner that people find relatable. And I think that's an important part of our brand, is that we'd like to be relatable. People understand us without us having to explain too much, but actually in our branding and our communication and our language, we come across as, pretty normal, pretty committed and passionate, but pretty easy to get along with. And I think that's, what a lot of local businesses and brands can do is be themselves, because a lot of big businesses can't. They have a contrived, made up sort of brand, which they are able to communicate with huge marketing budgets, but they don't have the nimbleness and the genuine, authentic spirit that smaller businesses have. And I think that's our job, is to get that across.
Yeah, definitely. It's great to hear it put into words, exactly how important small businesses are and how valuable they are. And that's obviously why the lockdown economy is trying to champion small businesses and entrepreneurs, to help them during this time. So you've spoken a lot about the different methods that you put in place to try to stimulate your business, and successfully, it sounds like. And how is your business going now? So almost a year after the first effects of the pandemic began to be felt. So what kind of state is Jones Brothers Coffee company in now?
Yeah, I don't want to overstate it, right? Don't get me wrong. It's been difficult.
Sure.
This is not a sort of runaway success story. We are having the same difficulties that a lot of companies like us are having. So some parts of our business, like online, have done pretty well, but other parts of our business, like the office coffee market, have nearly collapsed. So I would say moderately well is how we're doing. And I think, to be honest, our biggest goal is around survival, is around just still being there when this ends, if this is ever going to end. It's hard to know. So I think, it's about being realistic about our goals, just doing all the things that we need to do to survive. And so we're doing okay. And I think that's maybe the best that we can hope for. And where we can engage with other businesses and develop any other kind of partnerships and just try to support each other. We're also trying to do that. So I don't want to give the wrong impression. I think some businesses have done probably exceptionally well because they've been well positioned, or they've got the right range of products or the right kind of distribution. They've done exceptionally well. But I imagine most businesses of our size have done moderately well. They've done enough to survive, and many, of course, haven't survived. So I think that's our goal, and I'm going to stick with that for now. Moderately okay. We'll still be there at the end. So
Yeah, I think after the year we've had, that's actually a very positive statement to make. And do you know anything about how your competition are doing in the coffee retailing, the coffee producing business? Do you know anything about that in the Netherlands?
Yeah, we're part of a community of specialty coffee roasters. So, I'm in touch on a local level with the other sort of small roasting companies around Amsterdam. I see them, I drink their coffee, we chat a bit. I think it's, we're all doing some similar things around trying to survive. So I think it's probably the same. I think a lot of coffee houses, cafes have really struggled. But they've also sharpened their offer. Takeaway coffee has become a sort of critical importance to people who want to get out from the home and they want to go for a walk. And we've experienced that in our espresso bar in the middle of Amsterdam, in the Pipe in Amsterdam. More people, more regulars. That's been great. So I think other coffee companies are feeling a bit the same. I think the general fatigue of the whole thing is probably where a lot of people are, businesses and people at home. But we've also, experienced new people coming to our store, and I imagine it's been the same for them. So there are sort of ups and downs, really. It can never be as good as when the economy is fully open, but we've all adapted a little bit, and we talk, we're in touch with others, and just trying to have those kind of supportive conversations between each other, really. So I have a few good friends in the coffee businesses here in Amsterdam, and I think it's been tough, but we're getting through.
Great. And what about your outlook for the next few months? Do you have any interesting plans in the pipeline?
Yeah, I think one of the things we tried to do is to make sure we still stay on top of our innovation. So last year we launched our new range of compostable capsules for Nespresso machines, and that had been in the works for quite a while, but we rushed to get that out and to talk to more retailers about having those listed on their shelves. So innovation, I think, is key. So we've got a few things that we're still working on now. It's about offering customers an easier way to access our products, maybe a slightly different range of coffees within our whole bean and in our capsules range. We're looking at other markets. So we're trying to, there's a big trend around, of course, coffee at home, as you can imagine. So whether that's different coffees or coffee gadgets or gifting or subscription, or any way that people are generally drinking more coffee, but they're also in general looking to drink better quality coffees as well, because people have a little bit more time or take a little bit more time to make their coffee. They're consuming more, of course, but they're also interested in it a little bit more. So I found there's a lot of people talking to us, asking advice on coffee gadgets or how to best brew their coffee in different ways. It's been kind of interesting in that way. So for us, it's continuing to do what we're doing around the online business and to drive a little bit of innovation. It's trying to distinguish yourself generally from the bigger coffee brands and coffee companies. Give people reasons to buy us rather than some of the bigger brands, really. So generally, outlook is uncertain, I think. Just at the moment that we thought it might be getting better, it seems to be going in reverse. So I think that it's probably more of the same for just a little bit longer. So the biggest, I suppose, issue for us is just trying to get people back to the offices, because that will seriously give us a boost again. But in the meantime, we'll keep doing the best that we can with the consumers and the customers that we do have. So we're grateful for that.
Yeah, and like you said, the future is uncertain, but it's nice to hear that you are trying to innovate and try new things, and not just sitting and waiting for it all to blow over. I think that's a very important message to give out to people.
Yeah, you can't sit around and wait.
Exactly. But as always with small businesses, I suppose there are some things that you and Jones Brothers Coffee Company need help with. So as we always end with, are there any things that you would say right now in the current climate that you and your company need some help with?
Well, yes, of course. I would say for all small businesses, and ours included, it's asking companies and retailers to give more consideration to smaller companies, smaller brands, giving them greater allowance, and visibility. I think for all of us in the coffee industry, with small coffee brands like ours, it's about building awareness and visibility. We've had some help from people that know more about things like Facebook advertising than we do. But generally online marketing and trying to scale our online business is quite a challenge, actually. And you don't know what you don't know until you're trying to do it. And then you realize, I don't quite understand how to do this in the most efficient way. So yeah, for us, it's scaling our online business by attracting as many more new consumers as we can would be a great help. So any expertise that we can find or have some input from on that would be tremendous. And the same really, when it comes to innovation, I think finding a way to get your innovation up and running. You could have I think a lot of companies have great ideas, but trying to get that to scale sometimes is a real challenge. And that could be finance, but it could be access to retailers or access to platforms that can really help you expand the awareness of that piece of innovation. Like I said last year, great piece of innovation around composting capital. We're not the only people doing it, but we were one of the first. But scaling that is a challenge. There's a lot of finance involved, but there's just generally marketing awareness is also a big challenge. So yeah, for us, I think probably like a lot of small companies is finding more places to be available, getting more insight how to scale our online business, and trying to make our innovations a success. I suppose is how I'd summarize it.
Yeah, and I'll definitely link below this video some ways that you can get in touch with Richard if you are able to help with any of those things. So thank you very much, Richard, for sharing your insights. It's been really interesting to hear your honesty in how your business has gone in the past year, and great to hear that you're trying different things to try to overcome these challenges in this time. So please like this video, subscribe to the AlterContacts YouTube channel, because in the coming weeks and months we're going to have many more small business owners like Richard sharing their stories with you. Richard, maybe just a final question for you. So I understand there is your web store where people can buy your blends, your roasted coffees, but how else can people come in and visit you and try out your produce?
My produce, yes. We have a lovely little takeaway espresso bar at the moment in the middle of Amsterdam. So you're always welcome to come and see us there. That's been a great little piece of heaven for us each day. But also in the supermarkets like Jumbo and Dane, and the Picnic app, the Crisp app, bol.com, Coffee Pirate, which is a lovely business that we're partnering with as well. So yeah, actually in a lot of places, but most of all, if people really want to talk to us, then come to our store or see us online.
Great. Well, as soon as it's safe to travel again, I'm sure I'll be popping to Amsterdam for an espresso.
You're not far away, Rosie, so do that.
I will do. Thank you very much, Richard.
Thank you. A great pleasure. Thanks very much.